Make cool shit. Make it proper. Be professional. Don't be lazy. Don't waste their time. Better. Professional. More interesting. Attract people who want more than slop and gossip. Better. Professional. More interesting. Pay the mortgage. Retire. Spend your time on cooler shit. Better. Professional. More interesting.
What's up, fellas? We're going quiet on this one. If you guys have come here from the other podcast, welcome. Congratulations. Good to see you again. Let's do it proper. We don't need nerd stuff. We're talking fun. We're talking stories. So I'm riffing on what makes a story work. And it's two things I've noticed here. One, this is about the first year of Ohrian. It's been around for a year already. It's slow, but steady growth. I'm fine with that. Thank you. Welcome. Like, subscribe if you're here. Also on Substack, where I do most of the work where it comes to book writing, which again, Softbone, best cyberpunk to come out since Gibson, in stores everywhere. It's good to see you guys in the chat. I have been doing, trying to read more indie stuff, because everybody keeps saying how modern books are kind of slop, and they're not wrong. A lot of the modern stuff you read out there is pretty sloppish. Like Colleen Hoover is the best of the best. I got through Verity. It's well enough written. It's an easy, digestible. It's like McDonald's food, basically. And most shit, there was one I grabbed, which is like Milkmaids. I think it's like porn with like a minotaur. I don't even know. Long story. So I started reading a bunch of indie stuff, and I find a lot of indie stuff is also equally bad or equally good. It depends how you look at it. The point is, it's not much better or different. It's just less cringe. But there is, out of every 5-10 books, there's one gem that I actually like. Dude, this is actually kind of neat. I can get into it. There was 28 Minutes into the Future, a collection of short stories. Oh damn, I can't remember the name of the one. Hold on a sec, I gotta pull it up. But it was like a you know what, I'll get to it later. It was a kind of like a noir, but it also had a bit of Serenity, Firefly, that kind of vibe to it too. There was another one which is actually like a nice little German Christian Christmas tale of forgiveness. And I'm not a fan of like the Waltons kind of stuff, the Leave It to Beaver. But if I was, I'm like, dude, it's actually kind of nice. It felt wholesome. It's like that feeling when you go to your grandparents' house and you forget just how devoutly religious they are. When you're like, you want something to do in the house, there's nothing to do because they don't allow dice or cards in the house. Those are the devil's tools. It's an actual quote from my grandmother. The only game she had in the house was Scrabble, and only the adults got to play it. So for me, most of the time was just spent listening to this stove boiling water. Like they had one of those kettles and like the wash basin kind of thing. They were old school. But it was like a really well executed story on a subject matter that I wasn't interested in, but I was still kind of interested in. Same thing. Dan Baltic's Nutcranker. If you read that, it's like a series of short essays or short stories where the main character is different, but it's always the same. It's always a overly confident, socially retarded character who's like thinks he's the player's gift to women, and the women kind of treat him dismissively and his friends laugh at him and stuff like that. And then the punchline is always, it's kind of very Seinfeldish, where the punchline is the consequences to his own actions. I found the character extremely unlikable. I did not like him at all, but written well enough that it gets in there. And why am I giving you all these random disjointed examples? It's because of something my editor Nick told me. Nick August, which is his pen name too. Even the editors have pen names. We're very Inception here. It's that it's all in how you execute it. And it's that has made everything so much better when it comes to watching movies, when it comes to reading books, when it comes to anything, even a YouTube video. It's all in how it's executed. Because everything that I'm enjoying now completely breaks the rule. 28 Minutes to the Future. did the one thing I rant on here constantly. Because they were shorter stories, it was mostly him explaining the premise to a book to me, as opposed to me actually reading a book. It was all exposition. It was all world building. There was no dialogue, no action. Oh, very little action. I should hate that book because that's horrible. And I always write to avoid that stuff. And every writer who's worth its salt tells you never to do that. But he did it. But it still worked. You know why? Because he executed it. The premises and the things that happen were so damn interesting that you don't mind the rule being broken. It was executed well. I was like, interesting. Same thing as Nutcracker. Make a character that people can enjoy and empathize and sympathize with and relate to. It's like, I can't relate to this guy. Everything I've ever done on my main channel has been in the antithesis of that, being the confident moron who's like completely oblivious to stuff. I cannot stand it, but he executed it well. He made it entertaining enough that, yeah, he gets screwed over, and I even feel kind of bad for him, but it's an unlikable person. He executed it well. Edward Teach, the last psychiatrist himself, sadly porn. It's a 10-year-old book right now. I don't know. Nobody's ever heard of it. But I remember The Last Psychologist or Last Psychiatrist was probably the biggest blog in the 2000s and 2010. Like, I shit you not. It was Perez Hilton was the only thing I could think of that was any bigger from it. And it had like a stream. It's like a stream of consciousness book that takes like very obscure references. I think he uses like Hamlet, ancient Greek tragedy, pop culture TV stuff, and then he uses that to delve into your own psychosis. In this case, sadly, porn is about how we don't have kinks that porn fulfills. Porn actually drives us to our kinks. Whether you agree with the premise or not, it's still entertaining. It takes you for the ride. It's almost at the point where it's too good. It's the point where you have to read something twice because you follow his logic. Then by the end of it, you forgot how you got there. But the part I enjoyed about this, and this is where I mean about execution, Chapter 2. You're reading through Chapter 1, you got things are going all good. Then Chapter 2, it starts with this scene of a couple on a vacation. And it was like, you could have almost seen it out of like a White Lotus episode. He had me reading an entire chapter of cuckold porn. And I didn't even realize it until the end. Because he executed it so goddamn well, and it was so seamless. You just keep reading, and you kept reading. And there was like a little anxiety. Like, I've never felt, like I felt anxiety. I'm like, oh, I don't like this, man. What's he doing? And I realized, yeah, it's like he's writing about some dude whose wife is railing his coworker. And I don't think the guy was into it. It was like a weird thing. Like, I don't understand. He wasn't like, yeah, take my wife, please. And the wife was like, I don't like him. And then the guy was just like, I don't really care. I'm just doing this because I can. And it's like nobody cared. Nobody was invested into it, but it happened. And then everybody had these post hoc justifications. It was a very, very well-written, compelling story thing. And I hate him for the fact that I'm sitting here praising a cuck porn book right now. That's what I mean, though, man. Execution is everything. If you haven't done it, check it out. It's a pretty good book, but I'll warn you right now, it is not a simple book. If you've ever read Last Psychiatrist articles, he moves fast. The references are very dense, so it's almost better if you read it slow, read it twice, and pay attention. Like, what's he trying to say with this thing? Everything is very shrouded in metaphor and psychobabble, but it's also accessible. You just kind of have to know it to read it. What's a premise? A premise is when you have a story, there is an underlying structure to it. The premise is the way of describing that structure. Like the premise of Star Wars is a rebel alliance teams up to take out an oppressive empire and small hero Luke saves the princess from evil space wizard. Like, these are premises. See what I mean? It's like almost like a synopsis. Then we got Orc City here. For me, the draw of indies is not the masterpiece to slop ratio. It's being entertained by somebody who doesn't hate me. I can enjoy slop knowing the creator is grateful for my patronage. See, that's funny. I don't really care about that as much. Which, I don't know if that's like maybe that's a self-own, or maybe that's me calling you naive. I don't know which. Maybe both, maybe neither. I just want it executed well. Like, I'm pretty sure that a lot of the progressive film, book, TV that came out of like the 90s and the 2000s, I'm pretty sure a lot of those people hated me too, but I didn't really care. Just entertain me, bitch. You know what I mean? Just fucking entertain me. Do I think that barista? I guarantee you, and I go to Starbucks, that blue-haired, septum-pierced barista saw my Twitter, she would like spit in my coffee. Guarantee it. But the coffee's good. Yeah, I do care because I've lived long enough to watch franchises of love go down in flames by incompetent creatives that hate me. See, that's what I mean. That's, I think, where we do agree. Incompetent creatives. It's the incompetence that gets me. More so than anything. And maybe that's just because I'm jaded and I expect so little. It's like, dude, hate me if you want to. But in the same way that Edward Teach has me reading a chapter of cuck porn. Like, entertain me. Do your fucking job. I can put up with you disagreeing with me. I can put up with you hating me. I can't put up with you being so ham-fisted about it. Chewing up the scenery. That's why I can watch a super simple, almost like unexecuted movie like Escape from New York, which it was something I put into the video, which I've got to re-put out now that they DMCA'd it. One of the points I made was it doesn't do what good movies do, but you don't care. The characters don't grow or shape or anything. There's no character arc. Snake doesn't change fundamentally from the beginning to the end. The Duke, Brain, Maggie, the President, nobody changes. Not a single character has a single change throughout the entire movie to make them a better person. Everybody is the same piece of shit they were at the start, to the same piece of shit they were at the end. And it does not matter because they executed it well. And I have that same approach to this stuff. I don't care if you're a dick-sucking communist. Make me the best dick-sucking communist movie you can make. And they used to, but they don't. It's the incompetence that gets me. And it kind of comes out in the way I describe things. Like I talk about movies that are poorly executed versus those that are cheaply executed. I can accept a cheaply executed movie. I get it. Movies are hard. Money is hard to come by. King of the Kickboxers is Van Damme's kickboxer on a shoestring budget, and Billy Blanks can't act. And I can't remember what the main character's name is either. He can't act. The main chick's boobs are okay, but not great. Shannon Tweed had her beat back in the day. But they had to execute it cheaply. But it was good. The fighting choreography was great. You kind of bought into the characters. They were exaggerated for their motions, which I get it. Chinese theater, that's kind of where Hong Kong took a lot of their thing from. That's why you always think they're just chewing up the scenery. But no, it's because when you're in Hong Kong making a movie, it instantly releases to 12 different countries with 14 different dialects. So if you don't make something that appeals to the ability for the audience of all 13 cultures to understand it, then you're gonna fucking lose money. So they have to make, when the characters are angry, they have to be angry. When they're sad, they have to be sad. Because otherwise, somebody in Thailand's going to be like, what the fuck is he doing? I don't watch this shit. Now, when you watch it as an American or a Canadian, you're like, oh, it's a bit cokey, isn't it? But you got to remember then. But that's the point. It's not poorly executed. It's cheaply executed. Like, I could put up with that. And I can't fault you for caring either. But that's my question. So this is where I shit on Critical Drinker. Because, the one thing I hate here more, well, about as much as the fucking pinko communists, is the goddamn Critical Drinker, Jeremy Quartering, that type of people. I critique everything, but I can't do shit. I fucking hate that. Critical Drinker, exactly the same attitude. I want to watch stuff from people that like me. I want to watch this. I want to watch that. It's fine. I hate this stuff. Kathleen Kennedy. Did you know Kathleen Kennedy is a piece of shit? If you don't know this, go to Critical Drinker's channel right now. I bet you if you go, there's 5 videos on that. I bet you anything. That's his bread and butter. He hates Kathleen Kennedy as much as Jeremy from the Quartering hates the Captain Marvel chick, Brie Larson. Hates her so much that, dude, you're going to put an extension on my house. When I just put video number 17, and then you'll get your comeuppance. Which, kudos for them to find in a grift, but I don't have a problem with that. Whatever. You want to shit on people for a living? I'm the last person to judge you. What I did see on this one was he did a crowdfund. Everybody threw him money. It was like a short film, a 45-minute film. It's like, oh, Critical Drinker, the guy who knows what everybody does wrong with everything, is now putting his boot in the ring. I'll show you how it's done. And they gave him money and they gave him hope, and everybody put their hopes and dreams on him. Finally, Something new from somebody who doesn't hate me. And it fucking sucked. You know what I mean? It sucked. So I don't know if that's the route either. It's just competent execution. Now, it's not to say he couldn't execute well. It's not to say he's a piece of shit, although, brand-wise, I've got to hate him. That's my thing. What I am saying here is it's clearly harder than it looks. I get it. Books are the easiest of the creative mediums because it's all writing, it's all in your head. It requires the least amount of collaboration with others. And I think that's where a lot of shit breaks down. And that's where Hollywood does not get enough credit for the miracles it produces all the time. From Canon Films to Disney. You're putting 1,000 people in a room together, executing on a single vision and putting it together. I'm not even saying modern stuff is shit and they could have been better. I'm saying it's a miracle that it wasn't. Ever. You know what I mean? Have you ever been in a large organization that didn't fuck the dog? No, I haven't. I was in the military, and that was probably the most efficient one I've seen. And even then, it was a goddamn gong show. Do you like Avatar? No, I didn't like Avatar. I've seen 800 versions of Avatar, which it's fine if you're into that hippie Star Wars. There's like 500 of those around. There was Sean Connery in the one about the rainforest, and they had a cure for cancer, and then they had to stop. And there was, I'm not even going to bother going into it, but that's the point. There's all of them everywhere. And if you're into that genre, that's great. But you watch Avatar, it's essentially like this guy that I follow on Twitter because I like seeing his business thing do his thing, where he just says, I'm writing an AI book. I'm making the most generic slop ever. And he calls it like Adventure Harem or something like that. Think choose your own adventure without any choices. It's like that. Characters are flat. I have a job. I signed up to the message board. It's almost like playing World of Warcraft, but it's written down for you, so you don't have to play it. The Avatar is like that for the hippie hero's journey. And I'm like, yeah. Then how come it made boatloads of money? Well, let me teach you about marketing, sir. I have manga and I have anime. Don't worry about that. And some do and some don't. Yeah, marketing. You don't realize this, but marketing will get you in the door. If you want somebody to watch your thing that's never seen you, marketing is the difference. Softbone will never be as popular as Harry Potter because Harry Potter has millions of dollars of people doing whatever it takes to get it in front of your eyes. I, however, do not. I have to go viral to get there. And then viral to a specific audience of people who likes books. And it's goddamn hard. I'm not going to play otherwise. But here's the thing. Harry Potter was good. People still talk about it. People still read it. People still write fan fiction on it, do art, all that stuff. What do people talk about Avatar? The original Avatar. What was that? 12 years ago? 15 years ago? When did it come out? Does people say anything about Avatar anymore? Does it have any lasting power? The Star Wars sequels, same thing. Star Wars sequels made $1 billion each. Does anybody watch one? When was the last... did you watch The Last Jedi a second time? Probably not. That's why they make $1 billion. That's why they make a ton of money, because they will make $1 billion because somebody spent $500 million putting it in front of you. And all they have to do is catch you on the right day, in the right frame of mind, with the right amount of distraction. Yeah, you're at the theater and it's the best of what's playing, so I'll just go watch it. It's on Netflix right now. It's on the front screen. It's right there. So if you just wanted something on while you do your laundry, you'll click it and play it. Good movies don't do that. Some good movies have bombed at the box office. There's been a few on my channel that did shit. I think Way of the Gun, which is probably my favorite, next to Gattaca on the videos that I've reviewed on this channel. Way of the Gun. Best gunslinger movie ever. I swear to God. It bombed hard in the movie theaters. But to this day, shut that bitch up before I fuck start her head. I will never forget that line. I go out of my way, if it's on, to change what my schedule is around watching it. If I have to go download a movie or buy a DVD or something like that and I see it there, I will get it. I have never done that for that. And there's a staying power to that, which makes a really good story. Will it make as much money? In the long run, sure. In the long run, but a lot of people aren't patient. Yeah, Lost Jedi proves the old saying. The only thing worse than a bad movie no one watches is a bad movie everybody watched once. Yeah. Yeah, good point. Gattaca bombed. Fight Club bombed. Dude, Gattaca to this day. I'll never admit it, but that's the kind of movie. If I'm going to cry at the end of a movie, it's going to be fucking Gattaca. cry over a goddamn piss test. What's wrong with me? Just the idea, man. This guy's like, you know what? This guy's been busting his ass. He's an illegal invalid. He's been lying and cheating. And I got a kid who's in the same boat as him. I need him to win so my son can win. That's some fucking hard-hitting shit, man. You'll miss your flight, Vincent. Oh, fuck, that gets you every time. Every time. And it's like, this is what stories could be. And they could still make money. Like, Gattaca does really well. It still makes money. Everybody thinks about it. It's been out for 30 years now, I think. 25, 30 years ago. There's people today still putting videos about how awesome it is and how much they love to watch it. It's still getting free advertising from fans. You can't buy shit like that. You can only make shit like that. Gattaca's good. Saw it when I hit 17. Hit the cerebral area in the best place. I would argue, and this is the one I did make, it's the most masculine movie you've ever seen without any masculine themes in it. Because it really is. It's just about a guy who just like... Because the premise is simple. It's just... Let's take bespoke genetic like designer shit and just follow through that world. Like a techno-feudalist bioengineering. And the character-driven premise of it is overcoming the odds. Rags to riches. It's rags to riches, essentially. Story's been told 100 times. So they slap some 1940s noir sensibilities on it. They put futuristic dystopia onto it, and it just fucking slaps. Oh, dude. Fifth Element was shitted on by critics today. Everybody I know has watched it and mostly like it. That's another example. I actually was kind of annoyed with it when I first watched it, but I didn't know about Mobius at the time. The art style that kind of got into it, and it really did. It really was a slow burn. Watching it now, and you're like, oh, this was that flying taxi feature that everybody wanted. Like Heavy Metal did it earlier, but it took the heavy metal thing and made it more mainstream. It was actually, yeah, it's deceptively good. Now theaters are putting out older movies and the hit top 3 because movies made today are shit. That is fucking funny. Equilibrium under the radar. It's weird with Equilibrium though. Like it's not bad. It's kind of the same thing as Gattaca and that, the overcoming the programming, very 1984-ish. There's something about it that rubs me wrong and I can't articulate it. Not yet. I'd have to watch it and like really pay attention. But it's either it did one thing wrong or it mistook something or I don't know. And it could just be misremembering it too. When I watch it again, I might be like, no, actually this one is like a perfectly designed movie too. But I can't shake that feeling. I'd have to go look it up. But yeah, Matrix, same thing. I still watch The Matrix. How do you not watch The Matrix? The Matrix is amazing. The Matrix is one of those few movies that, like, when you watch it, you know how a lot of movies have that 60 frames per second, that visual artifacting look that TVs do, where it makes things look kind of hyper real and almost artificial? The Matrix is the only movie I've seen where that actually works. But so does kind of watching it on CRT televisions too. Like the super hyper realistic jank and then the low tech jank. Both of it work. Like, oh, don't even get me started on Big Trouble in Little China. Dude, my girl's got green eyes, and today she loves that movie, specifically because of the Kim Cattrall part on it. Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China. But but you see the point? It's like, what do good stories do? They can break as many rules as they want to, as long as they're good enough to overcome that. Ghostbusters, another good example. Not a single character learns a goddamn thing. But nobody cares. Ghostbusters is fucking awesome. Even the Redditors can't ruin it. Ghostbusters 2016 probably made a shit ton more in the theaters. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They'll make $1 billion, but you'll never watch it again. Avatar 2, did anybody even watch it? Apparently $1 billion worth of people did. I'm going to guess that must be the Chinese, because nobody I've ever heard of has ever watched it or even thought of watching it. At best, you'll have like the family with the wife that's like, oh, let's do it because that's what good parents do. They take their kids to see Avatar. And then the dad will sit there and he's mostly fingering his phone while she fucking, stop touching your phone. That's the best you're going to get out of it. Was it? Oh, maybe it was The Pretense then. That might have been it. I'd have to watch it again. Zorro was the one I wouldn't have expected to have been on that list, though. Because I remember, we were really spoiled in the 90s and 2000s. We were so spoiled. Because Zorro is like Die Hard in the sense that it is a perfect movie. But at the time, because we had so many perfect movies coming out, oh, another one. This is Mexican Die Hard. I don't want to watch this. And we fucking, whatever, I just want to watch. And we go watch Transformers the movie or something like that, which, good for us, or The Punisher. But test of time, man. Zorro today is like, Jesus Christ, this is fucking good. Like, it's really good. It's like Princess Bride good. But yeah, we didn't know how good we had it. It's at the point now where I'll put on a cheap, shitty Canon film from 50 years ago, and everybody's like, my God, if they made this today, it's like, they won't make it today. A, nobody's that competent to execute like this. B, they killed a homosexual guy. You know they're not getting that past the censors. And C, like, fuck you, commies. They're never going to do this. Unless you make the movie about hating America, nobody will release it. And then Sarah Silverman and Seth Rogen will get on it, and then they'll fuck it up. Yeah, fuck. Can't do anything. Yeah, we did not know how good we had it. We really didn't. Even the goofy shit, like Aeon Flux, I did a video on that one in here. It's similar to Dead Leaves in that the story is almost nonsensical. It's like an anti-story. And the guy who did Aeon Flux, he's actually the guy who, before that he was doing Rugrats. Remember Rugrats? He hated Rugrats. He's like, it's such a formula. It's all generic. It's all kids. You can't be edgy. You can't do anything. He's like, I want something new to break free. And so we got onto Liquid TV, did MTV. He's like, I want Aeon Flux. What is this? It's like, I'm going to fuck it all up. And it was great. Half the episodes, the main character dies, and then she's back the next week. They're like, I don't get it. She died last week. Why is she back? I'm like, yeah, because fuck it. Why not? She'll have incompetence. She sometimes screws up. It's her own fault or it's somebody else's fault. There's like a love-hate relationship with Lovejoy, the main guy. My favorite is the season premiere of, I think, the third season of it, where it was just like a series of heroes' journeys. It was the coolest shit. Like Eon, there's like one team and then the other team, and I can't remember the names of the cities, but so she's attacking the thing, blah blah blah, slips, gets killed, something like that. And then the guy that kills her takes off his helmet, and then he becomes a superhero, starts flying back to the base like a big capture the flag thing. He ends up getting killed by this other guy with the sword, and then that sword guy comes in to try and rescue his girlfriend, and then they come up and then they get killed off of something that happens earlier. There's always like some Chekhov's gun setup from previously that dies in the end, and you realize it's just like a series of each one of these main characters that they were just rolling like 7 or 8 of them through in the 10-minute video could have been their own version of, oh, Aeon Flux, well, this is Chad Carter, or whatever. And it was pretty fucking cool, but it broke every rule. Everything you would tell you about storytelling, have a single character, a single perspective. You're like, nah, fuck that. We're going to have 15 perspectives. That's the perspective. So that everybody's a hero in their own story. Dead Leaves was even worse. We're like, I'm not explaining shit. Things are going to happen. Yeah, there's a plot to it, but I'm not going to tell you. But it's weird because then like the little bits that come in, you're like, okay, that kind of makes sense. They were up here before and they lost their memory and everybody kind of reminds them. But now she's pregnant and the baby's an old man. Now it's been 15 minutes. Where's that giant worm coming from? Why are all these cops getting shot? Nothing makes sense. They slept together in straitjackets and she was pregnant within 15 minutes. You're like, what the fuck is any of this? Why are these people even here? But you just love it. You just ride that vibe wave and you're like, fuck, let's watch it again. Similar to Aeon Flux is Bakshi's Spicy City. That was the thing too. So it turns out, I think it's Peter Long is his name. He used to work for Bakshi, which explains why he has that sentiment. I guess he was he a filler or a storyboarder for Fire and Ice? One of Bakshi's, I would argue that's probably, I don't want to say it's Bakshi's best, because I still haven't seen Coontown, and Coontown might be fucking amazing. And I still haven't seen Fritz the Cat, which I should. But if you guys haven't seen Ralph Bakshi, he was the renaissance of American animation. Had he kept to his guns and had other people pick up the slack where he was like, getting old and whatever, I would argue you would see like the Bakshi-esque rotoscopy type animation alongside manga and anime as like the underground stuff that everybody watches now, I would argue. But it died at the vine. The best you got out of that was stuff like Iron Giant and the Warner Brothers stuff. And then the lost decades of Disney, they almost took it over with like Black Cauldron, the Aristocats, You know the Disney movies that you actually really liked, but it was all before Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, when they're like, oh, turns out fucking slop is where it's at, and then they made that shit. That stuff. But yeah, there was a whole animation arc that just died in the vine because they figured out how to appeal to people, and then Pixar kind of murdered that body. Yeah, Fritz the Cat. And a lot of it too is just like there's a taboo aspect to it where sometimes, like, if you want to make a broadly popular mass market consumption type movie, you have to have the guy as likable. You don't do anti-heroes. The villain has to get his comeuppance. Like, there's all these little things you have to hit because you need to make it as inoffensive as possible. You need top 40 Taylor Swift in the background. You need beige walls. You need millennial gray for all your furniture. And yeah, nobody will love your movie, but everybody will tolerate it and nobody will hate it. Then you get the side stuff, and I'd argue this is the guy who's got a tattoo fetish dating a chick with tattoos. This is the guy who like loves piercing and the girl's got her septum piercing in her nose. This is the guy who likes kink, and that's the perfect kink. You get these guys, they make something that, dude, your girlfriend's gonna fucking hate this, but she loves you, so she's gonna watch it anyway. And you're watching Cool World, where Kim Basinger and what's his face, Baldwin, or in Brad Pitt, sorry, are caught in this world where you're like a PI, and there's anime titties everywhere, and what's his face, Peter Gabriel, or not Peter Gabriel, the guy from Usual Suspects, is like a cartoonist. He gets thrown in this world and some cool shit. It's like Roger Rabbitish. Yeah. You might be thinking of Don Bluth in the 80s. He ate Disney's lunch. Yeah, it was him too. But that whole, like, basically, I just kind of lump everybody who's not Disney into that thing. Yeah, Cool World. That's arguably Bakshi's best in the sense that that's his mainstream film, you know? That's his one. It's got all the cool actors, it's got the cool plot, it's made to go in theaters. Like, you're not watching Coontown on TV Thanksgiving with your relatives. You're not watching Fritz the Cat with your relatives. You're not watching, maybe you can get away with Fire and Ice. Maybe. But you're not watching that shit. You're not watching heavy metal while your nephew's over. No. Kids, sit down. I'm about to show you cartoon pornography. Like, no, not at all. But that's my point. Like, what is good storytelling? What makes a story work? You just got to execute it. And I say just as in draw the fucking owl. You got to execute it. Like, like, case in point, I'm going to do this one here. Cool World got butchered in the editing. He admits the studio didn't want it as dark as he did. Oh, I'm sure there's like a director's cut somewhere that'd be even better. The whole cast was good in it. That's the whole thing about it. That's the Bakshi. It's very hard to find a Bakshi film that wasn't good, even the bad stuff. So I'll use an example here in storytelling, as best I can remember, because it's been a while since I finished this, and I'm forgetting a lot, and I'm already about 40,000 words into the sequel right now. So originally, I'm like Cyberpunk. I love Cyberpunk. I want to work with Cyberpunk. Problem I have with Cyberpunk is everybody is so worried about trying to make everything look cool. You notice that? You watch like Cyberpunk 2077. You see, Ghost in the Shell, and Cyberpunk shit is fucking awesome. The people are slick. The Matrix, they have the trench coats that look awesome. My favorite thing is actually a Gibson thing, even though I'm only finally getting into reading Gibson, is he had a photo of him with like this homebrew headset he had on and a trench coat, and it's just a bunch of nerds standing outside. I'm like, that's what I want for Cyberpunk. High-tech, low-life. Fucking nerds thinking themselves cool, cringe as fuck. But the dystopia surrounding them makes it work. And so, like, yeah, I want high-tech, low-life, but I want low-life. None of this, everybody is cool and hot and sexy. Fuck, I give like the young men in this osteoporosis because they're given hormone treatment. And I'm like, what is the stuff we have now that would turn dystopic real quick? Because it kind of did. We got hormone therapy. Fuck, why not? Mandatory. All kids, by the age of 5, have to pick their gender. Until then, you're put on hormone blockers so you don't accidentally develop. There is equality laws. One of the characters, like, he's way too tall. If FemLaw caught him, they'd fine his parents for gene privilege. The girls need to have masculine, butchy hands, and they all have really shitty tits because, you don't want to make anybody look better. It's kind of got a little bit of like a... what's that stupid Vonnegut book again? The one where everybody's equal. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now. And that's just the premise. Cyberpunk thing, feminist, techno feudalism. Like, that part's pretty cool. But you still need a story. You need a heart to it. So I'm like, what's the story? How about this guy? He just wants out. It's like hero's journey stuff, but I don't like the idea of man wakes up one day and takes out the evil empire. I'm like, how about instead of trying to save the world, he just saves himself? It's like, I'm getting out. Fucking rights. Family. He tries to get back in too at one point. He gets his freedom. He decides, like, fuck it, I'm doing it. Let's get out of here. And the whole plan for the freedom is we're going to go to the Ukraine where we can be free and live together. There's a war there, which they didn't tell him at the time, and he has to figure that shit out, and it kind of gets to it. Hijinks ensue. But the decision, I'm getting on that boat, is his moment of deciding his freedom. But then he kind of chickens out when a fake pandemic comes to the shores of the city. Everybody's getting infected, and they're so terrified of it, they have to take a brand new experimental mRNA vaccine, which is killing people en masse. See what I mean about fiction? And he chickens out. He's like, no, I got to go back. I got to save my wife. She's pregnant with her kid, blah, blah, blah. He goes back to try and save her, even though the femme fatale's like, you can't save them, man. He goes back. He tries to save him. What does she do? She turns him into the cops for misogyny or some shit like that. And then she ends up dying because she got the vax. Loses his family. Couldn't have stopped it, but he ends up causing himself harm. He ends up getting thrown into prison. Has to break out. They do that stuff. The problem is now they lost their deposit for the ship, so they have to sell his eye implants in order to get him on the ship. It's like, yeah, dude, I don't have the money anymore. I sold as much of your equipment as I can, but the girl had to sell her body to one of the guys to get a payment. They had to sell one of his fucking eyes, and that's why he has the eye patch. That's his reminder of, like, I can go back, I can save her. It's like, no, you can't. Yoink. It's a reminder. So yeah, I mean, executed fucking well. You see that. The guy has a very clear need and a want. He wants to be free. He wants to not be under the thumb of, like, a fem law, they call it, but essentially like the feminist imperative. He doesn't want to be downtrodden by that. But what he needs to understand is that freedom comes with, like, the consequences for your actions. So you have to act right, because if you're not, you're going to get shit fucked up. And so in a lot of the cases are examples. And you're wondering, how come the character behind him also has an eye patch? Well, that's the Han Solo-ish character. That's Buck. That's the guy who's running this stuff on the other side there in the war. And he lost his too. And you're like, how did he lose his eye? Same thing. I don't want to spoil it, but you kind of learn later on, like, oh, he actually knows exactly what Jake's going through. Why is that? Oh, you'll find out. And then you kind of have this little back and forth between revealing a world. I don't like the idea of world building as in, like, I give you a giant line of exposition about it. I like the idea of it comes out naturally. Like, you find out that New Kowloon is a Faraday cage VLAN city within a city. And it kind of developed because in order for all of this infrastructure to work, they have to have a lot of, like, plumbing and copper wires and shit hanging out. And in certain chunks of the city, which is standard when you build them in the city, there's like a certain area of the city that's had this stuff built, which means that you have a Faraday cage. Signals can't get in, signals can't get out of this one specific part. And so people who want to avoid all this stuff kind of hide in there and cramp up. It's kind of like Kowloon. And so it's called New Kowloon. But you don't find out that because I explain it like that. You find out that because he's going there because that's where you go to score some stims, get some dope. His phone doesn't work. That's how you know it's a Faraday cage. His phone doesn't work. It's overheating, which is perfect too because of him as a character. He's nervous as shit because while he doesn't like the idea of being oppressed by fem laws, the government, it at least offered him, like, the safety of, like, yeah, they're oppressing me, but they're oppressing everybody, so I'm safe. Here it's like, yeah, no, you're on your own. And now he's terrified. He's like, I have to fight somebody if they fuck with me? I don't know how to fight. And then the idea that his phone is desperately trying to find the signal to get back, it's overheating. He's fucking spazzing out, and so everything kind of flows together, right? And I think that's what makes a story work, because it's not just that the character is doing shit and things are happening and the world is cool. It's everything is aligned, telling the same thing. His fucking phone is going through the same thing he's going through. The world needs to be, that Faraday cage world needs to be there, or this doesn't happen. And so that's how you find out about it. And I enjoy that far better. Because it means I don't have to think about, like, what's the economic policy? Like, remember that George R.R. Martin thing? It's like, what is Aragorn's tax policy? It's like, what the fuck does that matter? Unless the orcs somehow don't pay their taxes and that's how they get into Mordor. It doesn't fucking matter. But the things that do matter, you have to think about them. But then you don't think about them as in ways that work against your story. They have to work with your story. I could have made New Kowloon into anything or anywhere, but it needs to be that because otherwise that specific character trait doesn't happen. The characters in there have freckles. They have freckles. The girls have dainty hands, big boobs. Not the girls on the outside. Why is that? Because when you're in here, you're not having to do the hormone therapy stuff like the other kids out there. What does that happen? The guys here have very thick, hard, heavy bones. The whole reason it's called soft bone is because the characters in there. The characters in there have their hormone therapy as kids. It stunts their growth. So they end up with like osteoporosis in their 30s. But the guys in there, you're just raised to be what you are. So that's like the one defining character feature between the one world and the other world is how thick are your bones. And so of course it's going to be a slur. Call somebody a soft bone. It's like calling somebody an N-word. But you see what I mean? Like all the details of this world matter for the characterization. That whole character Jake, he's physically weak. His bones are soft. He's afraid of conflict. He's desperate for a connection to things, just like his cell phone, just like his bones. Everything about... I don't even describe him. What he looks like, what color his hair is. I describe he has some eye implants, but then again, that matters for the story too. Oh, so they have implants. That's cool. Well, why does he have that? Turns out there's like old implants that were before, like Amazon's the main company. That's the Tyrell Corporation of this, right? And while Amazon has a lot of implants, ears, eyes, larynx, whatever, it's designed in a manicured world. So if you're in a world that's like evenly lit, pristine floors, everything, signage works, it's all connected to the same Bluetooth connection, everything works perfectly. You put him in an area where that doesn't have that level of like oppressive, tyrannical, everything works, Apple, bubble, his eyes stop working. He's standing there, there's neon lights in the corner, and his eyes either see like blinding bright or pitch black because the irises only know open or closed, right? So he can't see, so he's standing there like an idiot. He's completely confused in the world. Again, do you see the character thing? He's put in this place that he does not understand, he cannot get around, and he's completely useless. His implants effectively do the same thing. Same way as his phone's burning because they want the connection. His eyes don't work in there. So he has to change it to a manual setting and change it himself so he can actually like fucking see. See what I mean? He has to take action. He has to do things on his own. And that, just an eye implant or an ear implant carry over to that. And then when he can see, what's he see? He sees girls with freckles, big boobs, thin hands, dainty. He's like, oh my God, they're pretty hot here. And it's like enticing. Why wouldn't you want to be part of the world? The girls got freckles and they're stacked. And you can't stop staring. And they don't even mind. They're like, I get it. Everybody stares. Just fucking slow down. Why do they have big boobs there? Because you want to be part of this freedom. Everything about the free place is surface level amazing. But it's all enforced by tongue or pussy or knuckle or boot. Oh. Well, I like the idea of like big tittied women, but I didn't like the idea of having to shoot somebody in the face because they'd want some of my shit. Actions, consequences. So what makes a story work? I would argue, if nothing else, verisimilitude. Everything makes sense within its own self-contained logic. Everything aligns in a single direction. Everything has an underlying point. Character-driven, even plot-driven stuff works well when it's character-driven. And then with the acceptance that even though I can give you these hard, fast rules, which anybody will tell you are pretty solid, you can break them as you need, as long as you execute it well. But that's the trick, right? Execution is fucking hard. Ask Critical Drinker. Execution is hard. If you want to go out of your way to make something new, you can do that. You can stray from the formula. You can stray from best practices. That's fine. But if you fuck up the execution, well, you just made like some garbage piece of shit. How is that any different than the incompetence running Disney stuff right now? Nothing. Oh, I mean, $1 billion is the only difference. Do you like Repo Man or The Island? I do like Repo Man. I treat Repo Man like Brazil. Like Repo Man or Repo Men is to Brazil what what was my metaphor I was going to use in this one? What the Joker was to Taxi Driver. It's almost like a homage. And the part that I love about it too is like the ending of Repo Man, man. It pisses me off every time. I'm like, you motherfuckers. Which you kind of see coming anyway, but you're like, oh, part of you just wants to believe. Yeah, one of the things I got criticized for during Orc City was having a slew of racial slurs for my world. The wokies didn't like that at all. Yeah. Well, and that's the one thing you and I think disagree in. Like when I was reading yours, is you like describe, you have like a preface where you're like all the slurs that are used in this world. You kind of give them a cheat sheet. I wouldn't have done that myself. Is that the right way to do it or wrong way? I don't know. I would have in my decision, it would have been a way of having it manifest to a way where people understood it automatically. But again, it's all in execution. I'm not the guy who found your Kojima tweet and then likes fiction and likes fantasy and reads it. So does he prefer it that way? Does he prefer it my way? Does he not care either way? I don't know. Which one's done the best? Couldn't tell you. But see, I don't mind that either. Actually, I enjoy, like, I wouldn't do it that way. The more ways I can say I wouldn't do it that way, the more I can say that I have a unique voice and he has a unique voice. But is it executed well? And you kind of get past the beef aspect of it, and you focus more on like, well, what makes it good? What makes it bad? Is that the way you would have done it? Is that the way that resonates with the audience? Those become more fundamental questions, and it's actually a lot more fun, I find. Someday you need to explain all these terminologies. I'll probably get in on that as we go on here, because it's the DMCA shit is really making this job harder than it needs to be for this channel, so I'll probably add some more to it. Yeah, Solo and Rogue One passed for stories. Well, Rogue One did and it didn't. That's actually... I use Rogue One as an example when I'm talking about Escape from New York, because Rogue One, there's no character development. Well, this sort of is, but not really. People go to a place and do things, and then stuff happens. It's spectacle, it's popcorn, right? Escape from New York, same thing. Nobody learns, people go places, do things, come back. Why does Escape from New York look like a cult classic and absolute pinnacle of storytelling, while Rogue One does not? Anyways, I don't want to do some spoilers to it. I'll fix that and put it in there. Yeah, it depends on if you like a glossary or not. I tried to help the normies. Yeah, I mean, and that's a choice too, right? But here's the thing, and I'm not picking on you here at all. I'm using it because it's a great example. If you guys haven't read it, actually do me a favor, throw a link to it. You got the wrench, right? Yeah. Throw a link to it in here. I'll pin it on here so you guys can read this. If you like fantasy, you might enjoy it. Yeah, there's also no main characters. Well, you don't necessarily need a main character either. Like, who's the main character of Ghostbusters? All of them. Except for Harold Ramis. Yeah, the most interesting premise of characters are side characters. So, for example, John's here talking if you want a glossary or not. And some good examples of movies that I like that did that. Dune. The 84 Dune. When it went into the movie theaters, people were given a little pamphlet about the history of Dune, like a little cheat sheet, so they can understand the movie when they're walking in. So it has precedent. But I always follow the approach of whoever's reading my stuff is an ADHD rattled dopamine addict who doesn't have the time or the patience or the, like one of those type of people. And if I start giving them a homework assignment, they're just going to check out. Is that the right way to look at it? I don't know. Again, John's taking a different approach. He's like, no, I like people to know, like, here's what you need to know in order to enjoy this to its fullest. Yeah, normie accessible, not normie accessible. These are all decisions. And I can have a strong opinion about it one way or the other. But ultimately, it's you guys as the audience crowdsourcing whether it's a good decision or not. You can always just read Dune, and then you can still enjoy the movie too. But, so the glossary, right? Here's what you need to know in order to enjoy this world. Keep the stuff in your head. The reason I don't like it is because of the mental stack aspect. I talk about it all the time. You have to keep X amount of things in your head to keep going. I try to keep very conscious of what I'm putting in somebody's mental stack. If I have a Chekhov's gun, if I have a foreshadowing, how many things am I foreshadowing right here? And how much do I think is too much? And I do my best on this. For the most part, I can't give you like a number, like 3 things at a time. Because some things are simpler to remember, some things are harder to remember. Things in different languages are going to be difficult. Things that are simple and easy and themes, those are easier. So it's kind of more you just have to get a feel for it. And then I got to start paying some stuff off to clear it off. Yeah, not into much reading fiction. And see, that's the thing, Ishan. I've written Softbone specifically as that guy. I am having a hell of a time getting into fiction. I wrote this book as that guy for that kind of guy. It's a way to like bring people back into fiction. And it's pulpy in that sense. I found a lot of the old noir pulps back in the day in the 40s, that very dialogue heavy, action driven, simpler stories, and they didn't over like 60,000 words. That's the bare minimum for what people consider for an industry standard one. And I think Orc City is, or not Orc, I keep calling it Orc City. Fuck me. I think yours is like fuck, I have the Kindle one. I think it comes in like 400 pages or something. Like, it's a beast, right? But the people who are into that, Dune was a beast. I like reading Dune. Lord of the Rings was a beast. I sometimes like reading Lord of the Rings. Yeah, fantasy readers like explanations. That's the thing too, right? What is it the reader's looking for their experience? My personal preference is I like giving them something to do, where you can either Duolingo, learn things, rote memorization, have a list, have a cheat sheet, whatever. I like the idea of learning things through the context of what's going on around them. So for me, like, why is the book called Softbone? It's almost a mystery. Why is he calling it Softbone? And then as you get through the book, you see a guy's making fun of a guy calling him Softbone, and the guy's like, "Hey, stop!" And he acts the same way as if somebody had dropped an N bomb, right? So you kind of learn, oh, that's a slur. And you're like, why is that a slur? Oh, that hormone therapy from earlier, that would make sense. And that's why he's so focused on the girls having feminine hands and the wireless chicks having scrambled egg tits and stuff like that. Oh. Again, they're two different execution styles. And it really depends on the type of reader. Here's the thing, though. What I don't know yet, and I'm hoping to learn, is can one style of reader learn to enjoy the other? Like, if you get somebody who prefers to have it revealed as opposed to explained, I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but it's what I'm putting it at. Is that sort of guy willing to move over to reading revealed stories? Or is the guy who has things revealed to him willing to move over to explained stories? Which I think will be more fascinating to find that out. And really what you need for that is like adequate feedback, which is going to be almost impossible. It is almost impossible to get good feedback from anybody, even if you pay them. Well, I mean, if you pay them, yes, but the problem is it takes a lot of money to pay enough people to get there. But the thing is, if you give it to friends and family, they don't want to hurt your feelings. They have a relationship with you to think about, so they will tell you they like it, even if they don't, because they want to support you. So you can't trust their opinion. And you can't go online, because if somebody hates, like the people that hated Orc City, I guarantee you, out of the 500 people that were just shitting on it every day, not one person read a word of it. They just shit on him because it was a bandwagon. They shit on him because he was a Nazi or something like that. So you can't trust their feedback either. The people that hate my book are spurging out and hate their dad. It doesn't help me write a book. People that love my book want me to succeed and they want me to do well. But do they actually like my book? I don't fucking know. It's a very lonely place in that sense. And that's the one thing I find that I like movies for, is that there's an honesty to it. People are going to go watch it or they're not. It's been given enough marketing to show it to enough people. You will make your $1 billion after a day. Like, their feedback mechanism is much more robust than any other creative medium, I would argue, except for maybe anime. Because anime fans are just fucking voracious. It's one reason I wouldn't mind learning how to draw manga. It's like, fuck, man, the amount of weebs. The amount of weebs with, like, programming money. Oh, dude. Make a fortune. Put a big titty chick that's 500 years old and definitely not 17. Don't do any of that. But even then, if I did anime, I'd be sitting here with some anime version of John as well, where he's like, no, that's what we do now. And I'm like, dude, in the 80s, we used to be like, oh, it's a different way of looking at it, I guess. Like, I still look to Wicked City as the template, or Fist of the North Star, as opposed to, like, I don't even know what's coming out now, One Piece or whatever, which, again, is probably not a popular anime opinion at all. But I just like the old styles. They're even before my time, so it's not like it was better in my day. No, it was better in my, like, older brother's day, or my dad's day. I don't know how else to explain it. But yeah, so I mean, that's this one. So it's just something to think about. When you're getting a new movie, watching a new TV show, reading a new book, reading a book for the first time. Do you like fantasy? Do you like sci-fi? We got you, fam. We got you. I really think you should rename your book to Orc City, though. It's just so much fucking catchier, even if it's not accurate. Because it's like the Black Flag or whatever? Hold on a sec, I gotta check my reading. Read.amazon. Oh, I'm logged into the other account. God damn it. I don't know why I have a hell of a time memorizing the fucking name of your book either. Black Crown, Age of Adventure. That's the one. Something else to know, by the way, and that's the last thing I'll say on this one. SEO, something I did not expect as a storyteller. SEO matters. What you name your book is a huge deal. My biggest mistake with The Dog Walker was naming it The Dog Walker. It is a good name. It's similar to Softbone in that that's a mystery, and the book explains why it's called The Dog Walker, which makes sense afterwards. But if you do a Google search for The Dog Walker, you can't put The Dog Walker and find the book. You're going to find dog shit. You can't put The Dog Walker Ryan Stone because it's under a pen name, R.A. Stone. You can't put The Dog Walker book because it's all dog walking books. You have to put The Dog Walker, Amazon, R.A. Stone, Red Pill, and then finally it'll pop up. That is like a stupid mistake that I refuse to make again. Whatever the title for the sequel is going to be for Softbone, it is going to be a word that if you type it into Google, it will fucking pop up. Anime is good because it doesn't shy away from offending somebody. Well, look at it this way, Paul. Rogue One was offensive. There's a guy on Twitter even today who was talking about some dinosaur show that he made, and he had a bunch of chick lesbians making out on it. He offended a lot of people, but his movie is shit. His cartoon is fucking garbage. So it's not even about the offending somebody, it's the execution. It's making it a compelling story of offending somebody. How would storytelling work in video games? Well, you're getting into ludology there, and that's a whole different argument. I think the worst video games are ones where people treat it like a movie with buttons. Like, I would argue some of the better storytelling, like Myst was kind of a good example of it, but it's, it's a bit crude. But it's closer to a choose your own adventure in that your actions need to have a chain of events that happen because of your actions that create the thing. Minecraft is actually a really good example of storytelling, even though it's not a game, it's a toy. Because you're making your own story from it, and they understand that the game is there to be played. Yeah, and see, cut sequences, I think of cut sequences as a cheap out. I'm very arcade focused on this one. If you need a cutscene, then you failed as your job as a game storyteller. You know what I mean? Duke Nukem 3D was a good example of this. You land on the roof at the very beginning, your car crashes. Now it's time to teach him a lesson for stealing our chicks. Perfect storytelling. It's 3 seconds. You're doing it while you're playing the game. You know everything you need to know to get going onto it. You know why you're sneaking into the theater, and like it carries on. But again, it's kind of out of scope for this one because now we're talking about a science. There's actually a science called ludology, the science of games. And we could get into that, but that's not this channel. And I'm not the expert, but there's not very many to talk about it anyway. Anyways, as always, you know what? I'll put it in there because you didn't. Where did I put the... Here's what we're going to do. But Kojima put lots of cutscenes. Yes, he did. And sometimes the game works in spite of it, which is fine. Again, how many times have I talked about execution? Oh, damn it. Wrong account. Hold on a second. I just realized I'm logged in on the Ryan Stone account and not the Ohrian one. Oh, for the love of... I'm going to put the thing for... there we go. I'm going to put the thing for Black Crown in here. I'll put it as a pinned comment. There she is. Feel free. If you're into fantasy, give it a read. Like I said, I'm not as big a fantasy guy as I thought I would be. So it's not a book for me, but... And again, you've seen, like, we talk about the different ways of execution and what they're liked. But there's nothing about it, if you're into that genre, you're not going to like. So I think you'll enjoy it, if you're into that kind of thing. And if you're not, it still keeps your interest. It's not as good as Edward Teach making me read cuck porn, but hey, what is, right? Anyways, that's it for this one. See you guys next week.
Make cool shit. Make it proper. Be professional. Don't be lazy. Don't waste their time. Better. professional. More interesting. Attract people who want more than slop and gossip. Better. Professional. More interesting. Pay the mortgage.